Hello everyone and welcome to Fresh Character Zero Gold Challenge episode 4. In the previous episode we made it almost to 500 gold, we ended at 475 gold and still a few materials in my inventory as well. I'm glad to see so many people enjoying this series and I will definitely continue to post more of these videos in the future. The goal for today will probably be to reach at least 1000 gold or hopefully a bit more, but we will see how everything turns out today. Enjoy this video. I still have a few items listed on the auction house, but these are no longer the cheapest, so therefore I decide to cancel these so we can relist them. Hopefully this time I'll also be able to sell my remaining bronze and mithril bars. If so, then I should also reach at least 550 gold. I end up finding some cheap copper ores, but also some arcane tomes. These I've already sold in the previous episode and made a decent profit of around 1 to 2 gold for each of them, so I end up buying a lot of these because they're cheap right now. After picking up the different things in the mailbox, I decide to go to the melting location to melt my copper ores and other stuff. Now I just have to post the bars, but also the arcane tomes that I just purchased. Hopefully I will be able to make that profit of around 2.5 gold for each of them. I also end up finding some super mana potions that are posted fairly cheap. In the previous episode I managed to sell these for all the way up to around 3 gold each. Now I just need to pick up the different items, but also see if we sold anything. All the arcane tomes that I bought for all the way up to around 5 gold have sold for almost 7.5 gold each, so a profit of 2.5 gold from each of them, and we purchased a total of 27 of these, so it made me a decent profit. Now I just have to post the remaining items and then I'll be back in a couple of hours. Alright, let's check the mailbox to see if we sold anything. It seems like I've sold most of the super mana potions, also some steel and mithril bars, and even other ores and bars. Now I'm almost at 700 gold and I'm looking forward to see what we can invest into on the auction house right now. Sadly, there wasn't any interesting items on the auction house, but 5 hours later, when I returned to the auction house, I found some cheap netherweb spider silk. These are purchased and hopefully I'll be able to flip these for a decent profit. If you haven't noticed this already, then sometimes the next clip might be a couple of hours later. That's because I'm usually just online for either 1 or 2 minutes to scan the auction house and check the mailbox before I log out again. Of course, when I buy cheap ores and melt these into bars, then I'm usually online for probably 10 to 20 minutes. But I prefer to be online for just a couple of minutes to optimize the gold per hour that I make. In this video, I've already sold some arcane tomes for 7.5 gold each, and I find some cheap ones posted on the auction house, so these I end up buying. The super mana potions and netherweb spider silk that I just purchased a couple of hours ago has already sold, so now we're back to almost 700 gold and a lot of materials in my inventory. Now I just need to melt some more bronze bars and then we can post these on the auction house. I find some primal nethers that has been posted cheaper compared to the usual price, but I've never invested into these before, so I'm just gonna purchase a few of them and take a chance here. I didn't get to scan auction house for more than 2 minutes before the arcane tomes that I just listed on the auction house were already sold. When I returned 30 minutes later, I find some cheap mithril ores. These are instantly purchased because in the previous episode I managed to sell these for 1 gold each. And by converting them into bars, I'll most likely be making a bigger profit. Later that evening, I also noticed that the price for iron bars are way cheaper compared to the usual price within the last couple of days. So I will just be buying these right now, and hopefully later the price will go back up. Meanwhile, I've also sold some mithril bars and arcane tomes, but we're only at 500 gold, so we're 200 gold shorter compared to when we picked up a lot of gold in the mailbox. Of course, I've also got a lot of items in my inventory, but also on the auction house. Once again, I also ended up finding some more cheap mithril ores, and just a couple of minutes ago, I sold these, or well, I picked up the gold from these in the mailbox, and I sold these for more than 1 gold each. Now I just need to pick up the ores, melt them into bars, and repost them on the auction house, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to pick up some gold in the mailbox. During the night, I've been able to sell a total of 37 different auctions, and now I'm able to pick up almost 200 gold, and I still have a few items left to sell on the auction house. In the beginning of this episode, I had a total of 475 gold, so far I've made a profit of more than 200 gold. Back at the auction house, I cancelled some of the items that was already undercut by other people. And I also found some more cheap primal netters, so these I decided to buy. When I did a scan for the different primals, I noticed that someone had been posting a lot of primal water, and each of these were at least 1 gold cheaper compared to the other ones. So I decided to invest most of my gold into these primals. Hopefully it will make me a profit, because if so, then I estimate the profit to be between 100 to 200 gold. I also found some cheap herbs and decided to spend most of my remaining gold into these. At this point, I have no more room in my inventory for more investments, so for now I'll just need to wait a couple of hours and hopefully the price for the herbs and other stuff will go up. Later that morning, the price for fellweed has been increasing, so now it's the perfect time to post the ones that I have in my inventory. By this point, someone else has also purchased the remaining stacks of cheap primal water. For the rest of the day, I'll post these primals, and then tomorrow I'll go to the mailbox to see if we sold anything. Alright, so now it's the next day. It seems like I didn't manage to sell all the primal water, but I've still managed to sell some of them and also some bars, and there's a total of 650 gold to pick up. That's a lot of gold, especially when we consider all the items I have in my inventory, so I should be able to reach 1000 gold in this episode. But before I repost everything, then a lot of you have requested a video where I show you how I set up my TSM real quick for a fresh character. Therefore, I've included a short tutorial on how you can set up the different groups so you can start doing this yourself. Alright, so now I'm in a fresh character. When you go to the auction house and try to run the shopping scan, nothing appears. That's because you have no groups yet. Instead, what you should do is to type /TSM. Now you will open up the add-on and you need to go to groups. Go to this location where you will be able to add a new group. When you add the new group, you also need to assign items to search for. This you do by going here and then you type in the item you're looking for example the mithril bar. Then you drag this into the new group, and you could also do this with, for example, mithril ore. Once you have dragged these into the groups, you will see them appear up here to the right. Now those items has been added to the group called new group. So when you go to the auction house, you will be able to see the new group. You can see it up here. Now you run the shopping scan, and the shopping scan will search for all mithril bars and mithril ores. By this point, you're also ready to start doing the exact same like I do. And in case you would like to add more items to your search bar, then you type /TSM, go to the groups, and in base group, you look for the item, for example the copper bar. This you drag into the new group, and now you'll also be searching for the copper bars. Alright, so now we're back to the bank character and ready to repost everything. I still have 27 primal waters, and the current price for these are more than 8 gold, so if I manage to sell this, but also the herbs, then I should be able to reach at least 900 gold. When I got home, I was so excited to see if we sold anything. I sadly didn't sell all the primal waters, but I still managed to collect a total of 184 gold. Meanwhile, the price for fellweed and ragwheel has been increasing, so now it's also the ideal time to post these. The price for primal nether has also been increasing by twice as much. This is probably because of phase 5 and all the new recipes and other stuff from Sunwell that requires primal nethers. When I do the scan, I also find some cheap aquamarines. These I've sold in a previous episode for about 3 to 4 times as much, so definitely a good deal. I've managed to sell the fellweed and ragwheel that I posted earlier, and now we're at 850 gold. Now I just need to post the aquamarines, and then I'll be back in a couple of hours to check if we sold anything. Alright, so now I'm back. It seems like I've sold my aquamarines, but sadly not all the primal waters, so these I will have to repost together with the other stuff in my inventory. Sadly some people undercut the primal nethers, so I had to cancel these auctions to repost them. At least the price for them are still high, and if I manage to sell some of these for this price, well then I'm still making a profit of almost 2 times. Now I just needed to post the primal waters, but also scan the auction house for any lucrative items. I ended up finding some cheap iron ores, so these I purchased a lot of. 1 hour later, the price for iron ores has increased even further, so I decided to post these, but also the different solid stones I had in my bags. At this point it's also getting a bit late, so for now I'll head offline, and then tomorrow morning I'll be back online to check if we sold anything. Hopefully we managed to hit 1000 gold. Okay, so now it's the next morning, let's see what we sold. I've sold a stack of primal water, some fellweed, solid stone, and an aquamarine. And we can also pick up a lot of other stuff that I purchased the other day. So now I just need to collect the gold to see what we end at. The total amount of gold on the character right now is 982 gold, and a lot of stuff in my inventory. So in this episode I've made more than 500 gold. Definitely a good profit so far, and I'm looking forward to see what we'll make in the next episode. This is also the end of this video, and if you haven't watched the other episodes, then I highly recommend you to check those out. But as always, thank you for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.